just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I hope you all enjoying your Friday. Oh, my Lord. Sweet baby Jesus, it's Friday. I don't know about you guys, but it's been a long week. I guarantee you guys must be very, very happy for the weekend. And for those of y'all who are going to be working over the weekend, well, shoot. Have fun working over the weekend. Anyway, I hope you guys are all doing well. And for those of y'all who tuned in last night, I want to say a big thank you to everybody who tuned in to my late show. It was kind of an impromptu last-minute interview that I had with Chad Reed's stepdaughter, Madison Luscombe. You definitely, if you have not gotten the chance to check it out, you definitely want to watch that one because there's so much information that unfolded on that particular show. It explains a lot of stuff, you know, because I know a lot of us are very curious and confused and wanting to know what the hell's going on with this particular case, with that tragedy, with that murder that happened in front of a lot of loved ones. And there's just a lot in there. There's a lot to unpack with this particular episode. So just saying that out loud, you know, if you get some time over the weekend, you know, because it's the weekend. So hopefully, if you got nothing to do, turn that one on. Like I said, it explains. There's a lot that is explained, and it starts to make a little bit more sense as we, you know, it starts to make more sense as the conversation continues down, right? So be sure to go and check that one out, okay? And I see Krista Phillips is saying, "Oh, your interview was great." Let me pull that up. You know, when I get some love, I don't get to show the love very often. You know, I'm gonna pull that up. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? There you go. There it is. Pascal, your interview was great. You love the shirt as well. Katerina, I agree. I love that shirt. Thank you. This whole thing, you know. But anyway, I appreciate all y'all for being on. Check out that show when you get some time after this show. Not right now. After the show. Dagnabbit. Damn. Y'all so quick to be like, okay, and to switch over. Hold up. Damn. Hold up. Okay. Wait until after this show because we got some information. We got some more conversations and all that we got to go through today. Okay. And we got some fun stuff. I got some different stories, some things that we're going to laugh at, some things that are going to make you think, and some things that are going to make it just feel good to be alive, you know, that are just adorable, too adorable to not end the show on. You know what I'm saying? Like to miss, right? We definitely got to end the show on something beautiful and just heartwarming, you know, instead of devastation, right? So just saying that out loud. Anyway, moving on. Before we get things going, you know the drill. You know the procedure. Hit that like button down below. Go ahead and crush that like button down below. And don't forget to destroy, nuke, annihilate that subscribe button, okay? I'm working towards 50,000 subscribers. We're in the 49s right now, okay? The 49ers, all right? We're just trying to get to 50. So please do me the small favor and just hit the subscribe button. Tell your friends about this. Tell your mom about it. Tell your friends that have morning routines that don't have anything to listen to or watch in the morning that are like, man, I'm looking for a really good show in the morning. What could that be? And you're like, oh, I got a show. It's called The Pascal Show. Just do that for me. That's one extra subscriber closer to 50,000. So just do me that solid, okay? Be really appreciated. Anyway, let's get into it. Subscribe. Hit that like button. Let's get into the news. But before we do, we got the fam in the house. We got Brian and we got David. What is good? How y'all doing?
Good morning. Good morning. Happy it's Friday. How are you doing? I'm pretty good.
How you doing? I'm pretty good. I'm doing great.
Get it out of the way.
I'm happy it's Friday. You know, get some much needed rest, in my personal opinion. But that's just me. David, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good too. Happy it's Friday. I'm ready for the weekend here, but we've got some interesting things to talk about today, so I'm ready to get into it.
Do we? Do we, David? Do we? Do you have
Maybe.
your
It
crystal
looks
ball
like it.
working today? Do you have your crystal ball working today? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
I see the future, and we have some very interesting things to talk about today.
I'm assuming you didn't pick anything boring to talk about. At least I hope so.
Damn, he comes back with a zinger. Okay. Whoa. Woke up on the wrong side of the bed, did we? I'm just playing. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to get into it, okay? We're going to get into it. Love you, David. Okay, moving on. Anyway, we got to go into the stories today, y'all. And obviously, we already know that there's a lot of stuff that has been going off revolving around the Oxford High School shooting. Now, there's been more and more information that's been starting to dribble out, right? And as they find out more information, background stories about Ethan Crumbly and the parents, the more we start getting it. They're just kind of giving us tiny little morsels, little portions of information. And apparently there's going to be some really interesting information that's going to be dropping today at some point. At some point today, we are going to find out a few things. But one thing that's very interesting is that the parents are now looking at a possibility of getting charged with what we don't know yet. But we do have a couple of news clips that I wanted to show you guys, because there's some things that we didn't get to really cover yesterday that we were just kind of talking about. We were just hearing it through the conversations from the family chat or from, just kind of in passing. But we now have some more confirmation from the news, giving us the information and just kind of solidifying these theories, right? These stories that have been coming out. So I got a couple of news clips. We're going to go through these. And then we're going to get down to the nitty gritty. Are the parents going to catch a charge or not? Well, we're going to find out. Check out this news clip here real quick.
And late tonight, the Oakland County prosecutor revealing potential new developments in the investigation.
There's an additional piece of evidence that hasn't been released yet.
A lot of new information coming out today about the teenage suspect and the two encounters he had with school leaders the day before and the day of the shooting.
Sadly, earlier today, a fourth victim lost his life. Mara McDonald live tonight outside the Oakland County Jail. Mara, we are learning a lot about these warning signs that seem to lead up to the shooting.
Devin, that's right, including that this suspected shooter's in-classroom behavior had become so alarming. His parents were called down to the school the day of the shooting for a conference with administrators, and investigators are saying, from what they have discovered, this was not a spur-of-the-moment decision.
Okay, so yesterday, we just kind of said it in passing, right? That little piece of information right there, that parents were brought in. Ethan Crumbly was brought into the principal's office to talk about what we don't know. I mean, hopefully they talk about it here in this news clip. But parents and Ethan were brought in to talk about his behavior, right? Like I said, what's crazy to me is that there is information out here showing, there's evidence showing that there was full-on warning signs before he went into the bathroom and came out with a semi-automatic handgun. It's insane.
Madison, Tate, Hannah, and today, Justin, all dead after a 15-year-old student at Oxford High went on a rampage yesterday, with 7 others, including a teacher, wounded.
Sir, do you understand all the charges against you?
Yes, I do.
Ethan Crumbly was charged with 24 counts, including terrorism and first-degree murder in a crime the prosecutor says was no spur-of-the-moment decision.
Judge, a preliminary review of the defendant's social media accounts, his cell phone, as well as other document evidence recovered on scene, show that this defendant planned the shooting. He deliberately brought the handgun that day with the intent to murder as many students as he could.
The accused shooter's behavior had raised red flags before yesterday.
We have since learned that the schools did have contact with the student the day before and the day of the shooting.
Yesterday, before the shooting, that 15-year-old's parents were brought to school for a face-to-face meeting with school administrators over his classroom behavior. Just under 3 hours later, school cameras recorded him.
And what's depicted on that video, honestly, Judge, I don't have the words to describe how horrific that was.
The accused shooter seen coming out of a bathroom and firing, aiming for students' heads with a gun his father bought last Friday. His parents, who briefly appeared during his arraignment, are also facing potential charges.
With the right of owning a gun comes responsibility. And the responsibility of a gun owner is to securely store that weapon and to keep it out of the hands of somebody who could kill people.
Okay. So we have all this information now, right? Parents were called in to talk about his behavior. He was brought in to talk about his behavior. So he's been having some issues for at least a little bit. There was enough energy that he was exuding, right, in the classroom for them to actually bring in the faculty, right, the principal and whatnot, to call the parents and say, hey, we need to talk about your son here because of his behavior. So there was obviously some sort of signs, heads up, whatever, warning signs, foreshadowing of what could possibly happen, right? But for some odd reason, that same day, y'all, he leaves the office. It's not like he got expelled or anything of that sort. I'm assuming we don't have that information yet. But he goes into the bathroom with his book bag, and in his book bag is his firearm. He leaves the book bag in the bathroom, walks out, shooting whoever he could find, whoever's in his path, aiming for the head. So, like I said, there was fair warning for at least a while, so much that the teachers, faculty asked for the parents to have a conference in regards to his behavior. So what was he like at home? What was this behavior what was the behavior that he was having at the school? Was it the social media posts? Was it the stuff that he was saying? I am named death. I forgot what the line was, right? Was it those posts that he was putting on social media that they brought him in to talk about all this? There's so many questions to ask here, but I'm going to throw it over to Brianne because she's new. She has been here for a while. What are your thoughts on all this before I throw it over to David? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I definitely think that the parents should be charged with something, and I can't imagine that with him having behavioral issues, that they didn't know that behavioral issues were a problem in the past. I mean, so if they were called up to school, what was it, twice or something like that? And then once they were up there on the day of the shooting, I imagine that he's exhibited behavioral problems in the past. So I'm very concerned that the father would go and purchase a gun for someone who has been exhibiting poor behavior. Especially with him being that young. We all know that, teens' decision-making isn't always the greatest. And now look where we are. We had a malevolent individual who utilized a gun who should have never had one in the first place, to cause death, destruction, and mayhem.
Crazy. David.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with pretty much everything you both just said. One thing I found interesting, I just found this last night. Like I said, the prosecutor hasn't actually written charges for the parents yet, but this statement pretty much suggests which one they're going for, which will be negligence, that like I kind of thought. So the exact wording is the prosecutor says that the parents went far beyond negligence and that the gun seems to have been just freely available to the teenager. The prosecutor goes on to say, I can say at this point, is those actions on mom and dad's behalf go far beyond negligence. We are obviously prosecuting the shooter to the fullest extent. There are other individuals who should be held accountable. The parents were the only individuals in the position to know the access to the weapons. And the gun seems to have been just freely available to anyone, including the child. And the prosecutor goes on to say that they will likely have charges for the parents soon. He just says soon, not more specific than that. And this was from late afternoon yesterday.
So like I said before, exactly how I predicted this whole thing. This gun was just laying around somewhere. Like I said, when they went into the Crumbly's home, there were multiple weapons, multiple guns, rifles of all various types of guns, right? Of firearms, I'm sorry. You're telling me that all those things were locked up? I guarantee you no. Here's the other thing, though, too. He posted that photo of the gun on his Instagram, right? There is speculation now that that was an actual gift to him, that firearm was an actual gift for him. So this gift that he got, allegedly, he took and he killed 4 people, injuring 8. Right? Injuring, I think, 7 now. Sorry. Because one of them has now perished. So this behavior that he was having that brought the parents in to have this conversation, you know for a fact he was having that same behavior back at home. Like I said, I got some more information. We're going to get into this. But the next question I have here that I want to throw up, and then I got to finish this video. I want to show there's a little piece that I like, a little bit of a teaser, if that makes any sense, for what we could find out later on today. And hopefully I'll be able to break it right here on the show. But I will show that here in a second. But I want to open up the discussion to all of us, to the fam, to the panel here. Should Ethan Crumbly's parents catch a charge? David, what are your thoughts?
I think the father should, for sure. I do think he should be charged with negligence leading to, I forget the exact terminology, but basically negligence leading to homicide. Because it does, like you said, he just bought this weapon the Friday before the shooting. There are rumors, like you said, that he gave it to the child, but we know for sure that even if he didn't give it to the kid, if he didn't give it to Crumbly, he still, according to the prosecutor and what the police said about confiscating the other rifles, this was a pistol, but they confiscated rifles as well on a different day or later in that day. So yes, I think the father should for sure. He seems like the one that owns the weapons, bought the weapons, and left them out. You could possibly charge them other two, I guess, but it seems like for the most part, all the negligence acts that led to this came from the father. And of course, the boy himself is responsible for his actions. I don't think it's necessarily from abuse or anything. I do think he's probably just wired that way to some degree. But the father gave him the capability to take his anger or whatever drove him to shoot people. He's the one that gave him the ability to actually do that. If he did not buy that pistol and if he didn't leave it out, it's unlikely that he would have done the shooting. And someone was asking in chat what it was. It's a 9mm Sig Sauer.
There you go. 9mm Sig Sauer. And I mean, I don't know a whole lot about types of firearms. I know how to aim and shoot. I know how to operate a gun, etc. But as far as like the types and all that, I don't know the details on all that. But all I know is that gun that he had, that 9mm, definitely did a lot of damage. Period. Right? A weapon is a weapon is a weapon. And like I said, these were weapons that were strewn all over the house. Now, I had a comment from somebody yesterday that was like, hey, you don't know what was going on inside that house as far as like where the weapons were and everything. But from our understanding, like I said before, how I predicted it, there's no way that it was something that he had to get through some sort of safe or some sort of threshold to get to. You see what I'm saying? Like, this was something that was easily obtainable for him. Why would he be able to grab something like that with ease? And I understand certain things, like, you know, it's not like Papa's going to wake up every single day and say the thing is locked away, right? Say that gun is locked away. It's not like Papa's going to wake up every single day and check all of his guns to make sure all of his guns are there. True. That's very, very true. But I feel like if you are doing the proper safety precautions to make sure that those things are locked up, you're going to know if your son or your child is trying to get access to those weapons. You see what I'm saying? I know it's easier said than done, but at the same time, I feel like it would just be very tough for him to just get that gun, right? With ease. This gun was most likely sitting on a coffee table, most likely sitting somewhere, or it was his actual gun. We'll get into it here in a second because there's more information. Breon, what are your thoughts on this? Should they catch a charge or no?
Yeah, I definitely think that they should, at least, like David said, the father should. I mean, regardless of where the guns were stored, I think that it should have still been the parents' responsibility to keep them safeguarded and locked up. And who knows, it could have been in the safe, but if you've given your child the combination, how safe is the gun really? So I definitely think that there was negligence, and I hope to see them charge at least the father with something.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that as well. I think that when it comes to all this, both should be held accountable. To what extent, I don't know, but they both should be held accountable. It's both of them that are making the decision to buy this gun, to teach their son, let's just say, how to use said weapons, right? It's not only just the father, it's also the mother too. She has to give the thumbs up to allow this to be done, right? She has to allow that lifestyle to be in that house as well, like the guns and the rifles and where they are, how they're displayed throughout the house, right? If your spouse, whether husband or wife, has an issue with this, with that display, that husband or wife, right, that is trying to put out have that kind of lifestyle or have those kinds of items out here, are going to try to do as much as they can to accommodate said spouse that has an issue with it, right? I mean, like I said, I don't know the dynamics of that household, but my assumption is they both have to be okay with that kind of lifestyle, with that kind of artillery just laying around, right? So for me, I feel like, and of course, it's also the decision to make. I want my son to learn how to shoot this gun. I want him to have a gun. Hey son, here's a gun for you. It's not your gun, wink, wink, but it's yours. Happy birthday or whatever. Here's a gift for you. You're a grown man now, right? So to me, it's like, yes, sure. If the father's the one who is buying the guns and all that, sure. But it takes both of them. It's not a single parent household. It's both of them child rearing. They made the decision, both of them, to let this child have a gun or to teach this kid the way of the gun. And now it's turned into something worse. So I feel like both of them should be catching a charge without a shadow of a doubt. To what level of charge to both of them, we'll see. But hopefully we'll hear something here very soon saying that they're both catching a charge, as they rightfully should be. Let's look at the rest of this video really quick, because there's a little piece at the end. It's like I said, it's just a little teaser But I think there's going to be something that's going to drop later. I'm hoping later today that will be extremely revealing because of what they say here in this clip here.
And in this case, that does not seem to have happened.
Prosecutor McDonald says she's limited with what she can share at this point, but did say this late tonight.
There's an additional piece of evidence that hasn't been released yet, but I can assure you it was troubling, it was disturbing, and unfortunately, he was allowed to go back to class.
Back here live, that 15-year-old is being charged as an adult in this case.
Damn right.
He has since been moved here to the Oakland County Jail. The judge said no bond, and his attorney entered a not guilty plea for him. We are at...
Crazy, right? Obviously, we already know about all that stuff. Of course, hell yeah. Damn right. You charge him as an adult. Hell yeah. That'll be insane. That'll be absolutely insane for them not to charge him as an adult. Look what he's done. Look what kind of damage he has done to so many people, hundreds, if not thousands of people that he has, lives that he has destroyed, right? He made a decision to go into a bathroom in the school. He had a handgun. Like, think about this. Think about this. Wrap this around your mind. Same day that he was brought in to talk with the principal about his behavior, he had a gun in that bag. He walked into that office, had a conversation with the principal, and the entire time he had a deadly weapon sitting in his book bag, y'all. Then he left that office. Whatever happened, whatever went off in his mind, he said, F it, went into the bathroom, pulled out a gun, and started blasting. Absolutely. The principal got hella lucky. And any other staff member that was there, faculty member that was in that area as well, he could have walked in and just started blasting then too. I mean, it's insane, guys. It's insane. So imagine that. Wrap that around your mind real quick. He walked in with that. He was planning on doing something that day regardless if he was walking in to talk with the principal or no. He might have been sweating bullets thinking, oh, damn, I got caught. They're on to me. They know what's going to happen. They know what I'm planning on doing. He walked out of that office and said, F it. I got to do it now. Strike now. I got to do it now. And then he did it. Like I said, I wonder what the behavior was. I wonder what that information was, right? Because it's so strange that they didn't say if they knew something else, right? Because they still let him go. He went into the principal's office. They had a conversation, and he said, you can go back to your science class or whatever class he was about to go to. Like it was nothing. It's scary. Right? Guys? Scary.
I agree.
Unbelievable. So we got some more information, or we got some more video that I want to show you guys. Because, yeah, like I said, it's just it just makes you wonder what brings somebody to this point, right? What brings a human being? What brings a human being to this ultimate decision of, I'm going to walk into this public area, especially like a school, and I'm going to see if I can hurt as many people as I can. The only difference it is in this particular situation is that he did not take his own life. Somehow he got away. and then or he just turned himself in. That's the one part I don't know, and maybe David knows or Breon knows. Did he get away and then he turned himself in, or he turned himself in right there on school grounds? Because that's the part I'm like, what? If he got away, how the hell did he get away?
From what I understand, after he came out of the bathroom is when he started shooting, and basically, at some point after he started shooting,
your internet connection just went to crap. Say that again, my brother. We lost him. Oh no! And it's not on me this time. Thank you, Jesus.
Can you see me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Say that again. Say that one more time.
Right. So the police were saying, and it sounds like they have recordings of all of this. He went into the bathroom with the pistol in his bag. He came back out without the bag, but had the pistol. And at that point, he started shooting people in the hallway. And when they caught him, it was basically right after so 4 guys basically walked in or ran into the building. They managed to catch him in a hallway shortly after that. He still had live ammunition. It doesn't seem like he fired on the officers, but he still had a magazine with 11 rounds, and he still had about 8 free rounds in his pocket. Didn't say how many rounds were left in the pistol itself, but he still had enough to shoot at least 20 more people. The police suggested that he had enough to shoot 30 people. So most likely he had already, that missing clip we talked about before was the first one. And so he had mostly a full clip at that point when they got him, or like a half full clip. They didn't give the exact size of the magazine. So what it looked like, at least one was an 10 round magazine.
Okay, so just so I understand what you said, because you kind of so real quick, and you could just say, you can give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if I'm wrong. That might be the best way to do it, because you sound like straight up AI. He did surrender on school grounds.
Yeah, basically.
There we go. Okay, cool. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep it short. Your internet connection is just wobbly right now.
But has the nerve to plead not guilty.
But has the nerve. But we talked about this a couple days ago, and somebody said something that was a very good point. He may not be pleading guilty. He's pleading not guilty because certain charges in the charges that he was being charged, maybe his lawyer's going, no, it's not the T word. I don't think he's a T word, right? I think he's done this, this, and this, but he did not do this. So we're not going to say guilty on all these. We're just going to say not guilty. He's guilty on these other things, but we're not going with this T word, let's just say. So they're going to go and try to fight that in court, I guess, which is very, very strange. We do have a $5 super chat before we go into this next video, this next news clip. Mark Saunders, you ain't wrong. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Meanwhile, black kids are being sent home for quote unquote inappropriate hairstyles. You know what? You absolutely right. Just in regards to what we were talking about before, his inappropriate behavior, his strange behavior brought him into the principal's office, and yet he was not sent home. He stayed. And that's when he started shooting people, shooting students and teachers, instead of being sent home for his inappropriate behavior. Interesting, right? I mean, you see these stories all the live long day. You got kids who are wrestling, right? Getting their locks cut, black athletes getting their hair just buzzed off right there on the side of the wrestling mats because, you know, the hairstyle is inappropriate and all that. We see that stuff all the time, right? We hear those kind of stories all the time. But this particular student is doing inappropriate behavior, probably making people feel uncomfortable in the school. And instead of them going, you should go home for the day, and maybe you need to talk with your mother, talk to your parents, figure out what you need to do. You know, we have some counseling that we can bring you, you know, that we have you go to, or counselors that we can have you call so you can sit down with, so on and so forth. But no, they didn't do that. They just sent him back on his merry little way back to his class. Interesting, right? So thank you so much for the $5 super chat, Mark. I appreciate that. And that's hard facts right there. Okay. Let's get back into some of these news clips, shall we? Okay. And man, like I said, I'm going to say it over and over and over again. I mean, just look at the parents. I'm not saying just by their appearance. Obviously, this is some devastating news. I'm sure they never thought that this would have happened, right? But at the same time, though, you're telling me you didn't see any warning signs from your son. You didn't see that his behavior was acting strange. You didn't see any of that. You just let it be what it was? Come on. You see what I'm saying? Like I said before, never underestimate the power of denial. Never underestimate the power of denial. Let's go into this next video. Oh, we have over 400 souls watching the show right now. Please do me that small favor. Hit that like button down below. Send those likes past 200 likes. That would really mean a lot to me and my co-hosts. Let's get into this next clip.
The parents of the 15-year-old girl charged in the Michigan mass shooting have ties to Jacksonville. The News for Jack's I-Team uncovering that they lived here about 15 years ago. Those parents may also face charges in the school shooting that left 4 students dead.
The prosecutor says they should have secured the weapon so their son Ethan Crumbly couldn't get a hold of it. News for Jack's I-Team investigator Vic Micolucci is looking into the parents' history living in Duval County and the consequences they could face.
As Ethan Crumbly faces 4 counts of first-degree murder plus terrorism and weapons charges, his parents are under the microscope.
You are the parents of Ethan Crumbly, is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Investigators say his mother and father met with school leaders the day of the shooting after people raised concerns about the potential for violence. And detectives found out his father bought the gun used in the attack days earlier on Black Friday. Prosecutors say both parents could soon face charges.
Bought on Black Friday. Like I was saying before, this allegedly was a Christmas gift for Ethan that apparently he got early. Just so you guys know, allegedly now. But he bought that at Black Friday as a gift for his 15-year-old son. David, it sounds like you wanted to say something.
Yeah, so one of the investigators did confirm that he did buy it the Friday before. Specifically, he didn't say he bought it for his son to have, but he did have the practice shooting with his son was one of the things he was
target practice
doing. Yeah.
Oh, and absolutely. But I feel like that is the thing that everyone's speculating right now, that it was a gift for him. Like when you get of age, like this is your gun. Okay, son. I mean, you can't run around with it right now because legally you can't, have this firearm, but this is yours when you are of age. That's what I think. Because why would he show this off on his social medias? Why would he go target practicing with the gun? All that stuff, right? To me, clearly, it was allegedly a gift for Ethan. That's what I think. And then, of course, it was just randomly sitting around, right? It's just very interesting. Black Friday gift. A Black Friday purchase. This was a Christmas gift. An early Christmas gift. That's what I think. Like I said, again, why would he post this on social media acting like it's his? You feel me? Let's continue.
With the right of owning a gun comes responsibility. And the responsibility of a gun owner is to securely store that weapon and to keep it out of the hands of somebody who could kill people.
Both of Crumbly's parents actually have ties to the Jacksonville area. We found several records linking them to Duval County. His father, James, grew up at the beaches. He went to Fletcher High School. He worked here, and he got arrested in the area. He was arrested for DUI in 2005, then driving on a suspended license. That'd be a year before Ethan was born. In 1995, he was accused of check fraud. The teen Mother, Jennifer Sawden Crumbly, was arrested for DUI on the same day as her husband in 2005, as well as driving with a suspended license and check fraud in 2003.
Interesting. I'm going to roll this back a little bit, but their arrest history doesn't automatically mean that they're horrible people, right? It doesn't. Check fraud, very interesting, though. Check fraud is very, very interesting. DUIs, interesting. The fact that they both got DUIs on the same day makes you wonder what the hell's going on. That's very strange, unless they were following each other home or something like that. It's so strange. They both got a DUI on the same day, right? Very interesting. But anyway, they have a very interesting tarnished past. Does not automatically mean that they're terrible human beings, but it does spark up a couple questions, right? I want to roll that back one more time so it's in, so I don't interrupt it. Okay, let's take a listen.
2005, as well as driving Crumbly, accused of check fraud. 2005. Fletcher High School. He worked here and he got arrested in the area. He was arrested for DUI in 2005, then driving on a suspended license. That'd be a year before Ethan was born. In 1995, he was accused of check fraud. The teen's mother, Jennifer Sawden Crumbly, was arrested for DUI on the same day as her husband in 2005, as well as driving with a suspended license and check fraud in 2003.
Wow.
They both worked in business development and marketing before moving to Washington State and then Michigan.
I'm Vic with you. Okay. Maybe I take that all back. Check fraud. I mean, they're just kind of partners in crime, it seems. They all have the same charges, if you realize that. If you notice that. Driving on a suspended license, DUIs, check fraud. So they've been ride or die for a long time. They've been ride or die, bro. Ride or dies. It's so strange.
Channel 4. I went by their last known address in Duval County. This is in Atlantic Beach. The man who moved in after them says he gets their mail, but that's about it.
So you know the name? Do you know the guy? Don't know the guy. Just his mail.
Now he's another person perplexed and saddened about what happened in Michigan.
We can provide all the training and put up metal detectors and try to flag behaviors that are concerning in children. But at the end of the day, if we don't make gun owners responsible for their ownership and possession, which most people that I know who own guns do so responsibly, and they're in favor of that. We all should be. Because if that had been done here, 4 children would still be here. A community wouldn't be terrorized and several other children injured.
The world is asking how the suspected shooter got his hands on the gun and why he wanted to kill his classmates.
Now we already know how he got the gun, right? We clearly know that. It was sitting around somewhere and he picked it up and he took off. He went to school with it that day. But listen to the background of the family. Now, I'm not here to try to demonize the parents. I'm not. But it does bring up some very interesting questions. It poses a lot of really interesting questions. What is the dynamic like at home? What's the energy like at home? Are the parents emboldening their son's thoughts, right? Or are they really what's the word? Active parents? Or are they not? See, those are the questions that I have in my mind, right? Everybody, we all have, we're not perfect. We're all humans, right? We all have tarnished pasts. We all have things that we're not proud of and all that stuff, right? That track record is very interesting. I will say that, fraud and those types of things do spark some real questions for me. I'll be honest. But outside of that, what are the parents like when it comes to their child? Are they really doting parents on their son? Or is it more like they do their thing and he does his thing? Is he just sitting around playing video games all day with no real communication between parents and son? What's the dynamic? What are your thoughts, guys? Breon.
Sorry, my eye was watering.
Good.
I don't think I really have any other thoughts than what I expressed earlier.
Okay. David.
I mean, this is there's a lot of responsibility here where people need to face, all the way from the bottom to the top, I would say. What interested me is the prosecutor stated that they do not plan to hold anyone at the school responsible for anything. They think they did everything they could, according to the prosecutor, that is. But they are, like I said, creating the charges for the parents. It's very likely, if you're raised in a house that performs crimes and things of the like, you're more likely to become comfortable with committing crimes yourself. So it's most likely, I mean, we know for sure his father has committed crimes. And a DUI is pretty bad, especially, the kid could have been in the car at the time, most likely.
Well,
So I do.
it was before the son was born.
Okay.
A year before he was born. So, yeah.
All right. But I mean, it does show just the history of negligence, and it shows their openness to criminal behavior. I mean, they didn't do anything so bad as murder, but they kind of opened their son up to that path and literally armed him with the ability to carry that out. So yeah, I mean, I do think this is probably a case where the parents didn't really pay that much attention to the kid and focus more on their own stuff, and he just picked that up from them. Or he's a sociopath, which I still think is more likely, but his parents could have definitely had an effect. What we know for sure is that if his father didn't buy that gun and leave it unsecured, there wouldn't have been a shooting. I mean, he could even have had the gun just fine as long as he secured it, and there wouldn't have been a shooting. So,
right. I mean, it is that whole idea of what are the possibilities of them actually, what about the father, right? What if the father was, or the parents, both of them, just glorifying weapons, glorifying guns, right? And that just kind of seeped into Ethan's DNA, right? That could very well be it too, where they're just like, yo, we love guns so much, right? And of course, God knows, what kind of video games he's playing and all that. I'm not saying that video games automatically turn you into a sociopath. I'm not saying that at all. But it does make you wonder what if he's just immersed in that kind of lifestyle or into that mindset, how much that would affect him. Right.
And I think he might be, there have been several viewers saying that they had seen a post or something on the mother's Facebook or some social media where she was thanking former President Trump for guns, and talking about her Second Amendment rights and things. So
Yes.
he obviously did grow up probably with parents that really express their reverence for that Second Amendment.
Yes.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing about guns. I'm all for people's Second Amendment. My dad he was a gun collector. We got him a gun safe when I was younger for Christmas. I've never handled it. I've never handled any kind of gun, but I think there's something to be said for people who are like zealous for it and people whom are they're beyond enthusiast. I have a sibling who to me has gotten to the point where I feel like he's beyond enthusiast. All he talks about is someone breaking in, and he has all like tons and tons and tons of guns. And I think that for me, there's something to be said with that, because I just think that that's an unhealthy obsession.
Absolutely. I think that I couldn't agree more. There is that where it just becomes, like you said, it's an obsession, right? It becomes an unhealthy obsession. Like, you know, for example, the interview that I had last night with Madison, Chad Reed's stepdaughter, Kyle Carruth, the man who killed Chad Reed at the front steps of his office building. Clearly you can see he was a guy who has an obsession with weaponry, had an obsession with guns. He went out of his way to go get a gun when there was a domestic dispute going on, as far as not violence, but just an argument about having access to their child. And it just, you see what I'm saying? It just gets crazy, where people just automatically think, well, the only way I'm going to get this guy out of here is if I brandish a gun. The only way I'm going to get this guy out of my face is if I shoot by his feet or shoot in the air and tell him to get the hell out of here. Let me live by the gun and die by the gun, because that's the only way I can do it. And it's over something as small as 3:15 and 6 p.m. It's just a little argument of somebody who's upset, rightfully upset, who is, let's just say, gesticulating a little bit aggressively, but he's not violent. He's not getting in. He's not pushing anybody. He's not punching anybody. He's not threatening physical harm on anybody. But people are so quick to run over and just, let me grab this gun and bang, bang, bang. That'll solve all my problems. No, it makes your problems worse.
But in that situation, he inserted himself into a situation that wasn't his business.
Facts.
He wasn't married to Christina. They weren't his stepkids, you know? So at that point, I mean, he put his nose where it didn't belong.
Mm-hmm. That was his mistress, for crying out loud. At that time, that was his mistress. That was his concubine. Okay? That was his side piece. Okay? Real talk. Real talk. And he got in the middle of an argument that he shouldn't have been a part of in the first damn place. But like I said, and you are absolutely right, Breon, it's crazy that people are so quick to think, oh, guns, guns, guns. Live by the gun. You know, this is my gun, my right, blah, blah, blah. I get it. There's some gun enthusiasts out there. You can be enthusiasts, okay? But obsessed is another level.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, my fries are cold. Bang, bang, bang. What?
Mm-hmm.
That's a real story, too. Dude getting shot. You know, a McDonald's restaurant getting fast food joint. It's funny to call McDonald's a restaurant. But anyway, the fast food joint gets shot up because some dude was upset about his fries were cold. There was another story back in the day of another one where dude got mad because it shot up a fast food joint, McDonald's fast food joint, because his fries weren't salted properly.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, when that happens, it's frustrating, but still, you don't go get a gun and start shooting everybody. It's crazy how quickly we reach for a gun rather than using our words, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is an example right here. Instead of just finding help, talking to the right counseling, talking to the right people to get the proper help out here, this kid felt that he needed to grab a gun, hurt and kill people in his own school. And I'm telling you, those parents knew something before this thing went off. David?
It sounds like, I don't know. I kind of think he might have been building up to this for quite a while, considering how quickly it happened after his father bought a pistol. From what I've read, at least from what was confiscated, was generally rifles and shotguns of the like. So he could have been wanting to do something like this for a long time based on some of his other posting. And the only thing that changed was he suddenly had the pistol at easy access. Much easier to sneak into a school. He doesn't even need to know how to build it or break it down. I mean, to fit it in something like a backpack. So I do think that based on how quickly this happened after the pistol was bought, he most likely was already intending to commit some sort of violence or wished he could and just didn't have the means to do so. And what changed was his father provided him the means to do so, because it is important to note how he performed the shooting, which was he was around school for a bit, and he went into the bathroom after the school started, after classes started, which means most of the doors were locked from people on the outside. And it just seems like he did it as soon as he had the chance, basically.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Because obviously, as soon as he got done with that interview or that conversation, right, that discussion with the principal, he was probably like, they're on to me. Let's go. Time to knock this bad boy out. Let's do this. And that's sad. That's sad. And I'm not sitting here saying, this is what's so frustrating about it. Is like, I'm not sitting here saying that there needs to be metal detectors in the entrances to every single school, right? But in a way, I feel like we're getting to that place where this kid easily walked in with a pistol, with a pistol, easily, with a handgun.
I think every school should have metal detectors. I mean, I grew up, one of my schools had it. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it sucks to think that we would have to get to that place. Like everyone has to stand in line to get through something like they're going on a damn airplane. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
But this is unfortunately one of the only ways they can prevent people from being victims is to make them harder targets. So metal detectors was a great one, and the clear backpacks is another good one. Especially for young children like this who can't really hide a large weapon on their body without people noticing. So I do think, and this was practiced at my high school at the very least, but I do think the metal detectors and clear backpacks are one of the best ways to handle this. In addition to the clear backpacks, also random locker searches, which they would do if they thought anyone had any threat of violence. And of course, they would also bring drug dogs through at random times just to check everything. And it's unfortunate this needs to happen in some circumstances, but this is happening to prevent more children from being victims. It's not necessarily there to make them feel better about themselves. I mean, you do want your kids to be happy, but it's more important that they're safe than happy.
Right. And I agree most definitely. Especially it's our children, right? And you got to do whatever you can to make sure that they're okay. But to think that they're, and for any parent, the idea of them going in and they know that their children are in a fortress, right? That there's no way, no harm can go in and no harm can go in. Let's just say that, because you want the harm to get the hell out, right? It should help give people some more ease, but you know how funding is, right? With these schools, a lot of their budgets are very, very paper thin. Bringing in extra security, so on and so forth, can be very expensive. Especially those are people that are there every single day, all day, every day. That stuff, that's even if it's the cheapest of the cheap, those things do add up when you're doing a daily,
But also, let's not forget that Oxford, from my understanding, is a more affluent community as a suburb outside of Detroit. So we have to keep that in mind too, that those type of suburbs typically have the funding. So I don't even think that that's the issue.
You know what? And you may be 110% right. That
And
is,
notice often these mass school shootings happen in those types of communities. So, I don't know. I don't think that there's an excuse not to be more secure in that regard, because I don't know. I just feel like there's a pattern with the types of schools we see them in. And granted, yes, we do hear occasionally about someone bringing a gun to one of the city schools, but we don't hear it as frequently as we do about mass shootings in the suburbs.
Interesting. You know, you right. You're right.
And another thing, I was just thinking about when it came to gun talk, is that I often notice the people who are the loudest about the Second Amendment don't live in communities that are relatively unsafe. You know, like my oldest brother lives in the middle of nowhere. And he's like, if someone comes to try to break in, I'm like, I don't think anyone's coming to Junction City, Kentucky to break into your house.
Ain't that
But
the truth?
you know, I just think about things like that oftentimes it's in communities that are relatively safe that you hear the loudest people talking about,
Facts.
you know, I need my guns and I need them for safety. You
And
know, and oftentimes the people in the city who would probably benefit from having a gun often don't have them.
Isn't it funny because it does make me think of like you know we all got that one friend that practices like jujitsu or karate, but he ain't never thrown a punch and never been in a fight before, but he'll sit there and go, man, I practiced jiu-jitsu, I got the clack, 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 like that. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you gonna do when you get into a fight? He goes running. You're like, bro, but you're black belt. Like, I thought you were gonna be my what the hell? I thought you were gonna be my goon. What the hell? The enforcer. Where are you going, man? It's funny how that happens, right? They ain't never seen a fight in their life, right? Never thrown a punch except on a punching bag. And they're like, I'm the baddest mamma jamma. And it's like, okay, all day long they'll say that stuff. But when it comes to push or shove, they're the ones getting pushed. You're like, what? Bruh, it's funny. Or you're right. There's a lot of guys I know, you know, that have a large collection of guns, and they maybe get shot once every 2 years. They're just there because they just look cool. Look at my arsenal, man. It's like, whoa, damn, the whole wall, bruh? The whole wall? Yeah, man, I got that, and you know, I got that shipped in from Korea. That one's over here. That thing that, you know, that's a grenade launcher, but shh, it's not legal. But I got it. Then I got some, you know what I mean? And it's like, bro, like, okay, it's amazing. They got all the LED lights like lit up behind them and stuff. Like they go all the way out. Like this is COD, right? And you're like, bro, you ain't never shot not one of these guns. They're just here, you know. That one still has dust. The price tag is still on it, bro. You know what I mean? It's like that. It's very, very funny. Very, very funny how people are with when it comes to guns, you know. But when it comes to the ish goes down, they don't even know how to operate like 90% of those guns. You know, like how do I do this? Wait, things jamming. Interesting.
It's actually a thing that's a problem. A lot of times, people like that who have been to a lot of martial arts classes think that they're ready for something like a street fight, but generally in these martial arts classes, you're not learning how to severely hurt somebody because you're just going to be doing it as a sport generally. And they find themselves unable to actually defend themselves against someone who has experience in history and violence.
Yep. It's funny. It's funny. You know, all the that stuff, cool. Hey man, cool. You know, it's a beautiful art form, right? It's amazing. But a lot of times they're trying to teach you to push and get away. I mean, the whole thing they say is avoid a fight. you know, throw down if you have to. If you have to, then you drop bows on them. But 95% of the time, they're going, we're trying to get you away from the situation. Away, you know, instead of, oh, let's get into a tussle. Now, if you really want to do some stuff, jiu-jitsu is another conversation. That's what I think. If you're going to go and get into a tussle, learn some jiu-jitsu. Learn some grappling moves. Learn some chokeholds. I guarantee you'll thank me later if you ever get into a fight. I think recommend yourself getting into a fight. Get away if you can. But that's an art form that you should learn. But what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I think martial arts can be beneficial if a person ends up in a fight, but only if I feel like if they're competitive spars. like if you're not quick thinking and have to anticipate someone else's moves, then I think that, martial arts isn't going to do anything for you. But I think that if you actively spar in competitions and you're regular at it, I think that you probably would be far more dangerous, potentially lethal. But I think that if you're just doing it as, a form of exercise just to get, your black belt, and you've never fought anyone, I don't see how it's going to be 100% beneficial.
Right? You know what I'm saying? And not knocking any martial art at all, but when it comes to those other art forms, aside from rolling on the ground type stuff, right? Like jujitsu, I mean, you're basically on the ground the entire time, but it's like glorified dance moves. It's choreography, and don't get me wrong, it's dope. Jean-Claude Van Damme was one of the baddest. Bruce Lee, and the sort, Chuck Norris, man. But everybody else, I mean, they did some really cool stuff, Jackie Chan, all those, cool. But in a real fight, it's a totally different conversation. It is a totally different. And you can tell people who can't fight, they don't know how to fight properly, just how they stand and how the fight ends up. We just watch, I hate to say it like this, but two women that are fighting that have never fought before, but they fight, right? It is a dead giveaway. A lot of dudes fight the same way if they have no fighting experience. It's very interesting. I'm just saying it out loud. Sorry, not trying to throw women under the bus, because I've seen some serious brawlers that are females.
I read Jackie Chan's biography, and he does really talk about that quite a bit in at least 2 chapters, that all the stuff he does is, he does learn a bunch of martial arts, and he does learn a bunch of like parkour and acrobatics. And this is when he was younger. I mean, he still does movies. He's just not as active. But he always, where is I going with this? Oh yeah. He said that basically, even though with all of that and the fact that he's like jumping between these buildings, that anyone who was actually in a street fight before could take him out really easily, because he doesn't really know how to hurt people. He just knows how to perform martial arts in a theatrical way. Even though he's had all this training in martial arts, he's always used it for entertainment. And he points out repeatedly himself that he and like a lot of the other major actors out of Hong Kong, like Sammo Hung and others, just don't actually have the skills to fight anyone in the street. It's more like wushu, which is a type of display sport. It is a martial arts, but it's a display sport. It's not for actual fighting. Right. And that's kind of what Jackie Chan describes with him. And he's one of the best, I would say he is the best martial artist that we've seen on film, other than maybe Bruce Lee. And he still he says that he would not be able to win in a street fight against someone that attacked him. So that's pretty significant and worth considering for people.
Like I said, it's amazing. It's like aggressive ballet. I'm sorry, but it kind of is. It's just, it just is very much aggressive ballet. But if you know how to use it and properly, like I said, that's why like somebody like Conor McGregor, I would not want to get into a street fight with Conor McGregor, because he does not fight like, oh, this is pretty and we're trying to sell it to the camera, right? He fights to take you the F out, period. And it could be just one hit and it's over, right? So it's totally different. But anyway, we went way off the rails, but that's fine. That's totally fine. I got one more video to show you guys about this, and then we got to move on to our next subject. This is about Ethan Crumbly's web history. It's not at all what you think, guys. Hold on. No, it's not P-Hub. I'll just say it out loud.
Yeah, all this coming as we've learned more about the 15-year-old now charged as an adult with first-degree murder and terrorism. The prosecutor says it was premeditated, pointing to what she describes as his disturbing social media posts.
Police say they have found a horde of graphic journal entries and disturbing videos made by the accused school shooter. I spoke with Sheriff Michael Bouchard.
I would characterize a lot of the stuff that we've now seen as dark and as cold-blooded.
One post from Ethan Crumbly declares, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. See you tomorrow, Oxford." The quotation can be found in a gory video game.
I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Several years ago, Crumbly made this video showing off his collection of violent games.
Got Battlefield 4. Comment if you want to play that one. I hopefully will get to another Nazi Zombies video.
2 weeks before the shooting, Crumbly commented on this YouTube video of a 9mm gun being fired at a shooting range. He wrote, "This is the gun I'm going to use," with a smiley face. His father bought another gun, the one used in the shooting, on Black Friday.
Sir, do you understand all the charges against you?
Yes, I do.
Yesterday, his parents watched on a Zoom link from their car as he was arraigned.
You are the parents of Ethan Crumbley, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
That is correct.
I'm Jennifer Crumbly.
James Crumbly.
Now they may face charges too.
Trying to pass.
This video shows him shooting hoops with his buddies, a regular kid from the neighborhood.
By the way, this is not a regular kid from the neighborhood. This is not the same child. And I'm so sick and tired of them trying to show him like, oh, look at him. He's such an angel. No, this is him. He's like a baby. He ain't got no pubes. He has not gone through puberty in this photo, in this video. He is not where he is at right now. Real talk. This is a kid. Yes, at some point he had innocence. He was an innocent child at one point, for sure. But please, everyone stop showing these videos of him just looking all angelican-ish. I'm so sick and tired of it. I'm sick of it. This is 6 some odd years ago, I'm sure. And they're trying to show this like he once was a good old boy. Yes, of course he was. At some point, we were all good children. At some point, we all look cute and angelic and had, baby face type look. Come on, y'all. Damn.
Today we are doing a little basketball game. 2 against 2 right now.
Now Ethan Crumbly is in isolation in an adult jail.
Okay, let me say this really quick. You saw the video with him with the glasses on, and you see him now, right? This is at least 5 years. At least. Completely different child. Stop it. Everyone needs to stop it. This is what this kid looks like right now. This is the kid that went out there with the gun and shot up a whole school. This is the kid, not the kid that they keep showing of what he looked like when he was 10. This needs to stop. I'm sick of it. I'm seeing it all over. Oh, he once was a beauty. Not anymore. This is Ethan Crumbly. Harsh realities, everybody, but sorry, this is Ethan Crumbly. Stop showing him being all a Boy Scout and sitting there like this was his first communion. That's a long time ago. And also the other thing is, it's not violent video games. It's not because of violent video, Grand Theft Auto and all that stuff. No, they may have inspired a little bit, but he already had a bad scene in his body. Something is not right with this kid. I'm sorry for saying it like this, but something was not right with this kid. Something went off, whether it is his upbringing, his environment at home, but it's not just him playing zombie Nazis and playing freaking Grand Theft Auto. Do you know how many people play these games? So we're all just sociopaths running around shooting people? Breon.
When you see the contrast between the younger videos to this photo here, I just think to myself, how did the parents not see this? I mean, like, he looked completely disheveled, not put together. I'm just like, you don't notice that your child has drastically changed. I feel like my parents noticed when I drastically changed. So I find this odd.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
it just doesn't make any sense. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way.
Come on. You know what I mean? Look at this kid. You're telling me this is okay? This is
It sounds like
before somebody jumps down my throat or something like that, before I get into trouble, I'm just saying, real quick, does this seem normal within the confines of normal to you? A kid that is okay mentally, if he's showing up to school every day like this, is that normal? And I get it. We all of us have kids. You know, we all have we all go through phases, right? You know, like a little bit more gothic or a little bit more this, that, the third. Like, you know, we kids go through their phases. I get that, but something is not right here, and the parents didn't see that.
Well, it seems like at least for most of the year there was evidence. If there's anything before this year, they just haven't released it. And as we've mentioned before, social media has already pulled everything from his, so we can't look at any of those older records. But from what investigators are saying, he's been keeping that journal, which has, I don't know what's in it specifically, but it has supposedly like a list and a bunch of other disturbing things, as well as his social media hasn't been changing since earlier in the year, according to investigators. So I don't know what he posted before, say the beginning of 2021, but it does seem like he has, since the beginning of 2021, he has a history of writing and making posts that are indicative of violence. I mean, things like a list of students is one of the bigger warning red flags when it comes to this kind of thing. And that should be treated very seriously. I don't know if it doesn't sound like they saw the journal beforehand, the school, I mean, but the parents are the ones that have the ability to go through his backpack and through his homework and stuff.
Facts.
Not necessarily the teachers.
Yeah. Breon.
So when I was in 7th grade, I met a student that I became friends with. He went to a different junior high in our same town. And we remained friends in 8th grade. And I mean, he was skaterish. But his attitude completely changed. He went from somewhat happy and bubbly, saying hi to people, like he and I remained friends, to starting to get really withdrawn. And this particular kid was bullied. Then he started to become more withdrawn, always looked tired. And then one day he wasn't in school, and I was asking about him, and they're like, "Oh, didn't you hear?" And I was like, "Hear what?" They were like, "Well, they found pipe bombs and other materials in his home." So I guess he had mentioned he was going to do something to someone else, and he had journal entries, and they found a hit list. They found a save list. The save list had a few names on it. My name happened to be on the save list, so I ended up having to talk to the principal, the assistant principal, the police came to interview, and I just remember in my young mind, they're like, "Well, why were you on this list? What do you know about this?" And I'm like, "Well, maybe I was a nice person."
Right.
I'm like, he was bullied. I was like, I don't know whose names were on the list, but I can tell you he was severely bullied. And I said, he was always nice to me. I hung out with him. I never had issues with him. To me, he was a good friend. It's like, but at the end of the day, I said he did start to get a little bit withdrawn and always looked tired, like he would be up all night. I said this behavior changed, but I didn't think much of it because at the time, I think only Columbine had happened. So like this wasn't the norm, but people had been doing things like setting off certain things in people's mailboxes and stuff around that time too. But yeah, it was really, really, really interesting. But I noticed that he looked different. But as I get older, in hindsight, I'm like, no, there are signs. And that's why I said this about this kid. You don't go from being this bubbly to then not noticing. Something drastic had to have happened. I mean, 5 years, a child grows a lot and parents notice a lot about their children. I just don't understand how they didn't see this. And I believe he had existing behavioral issues.
I'll say this too, just to go to piggyback off what you just said. I feel like that there's definitely was a lot of warning signs when it came to the parents. I feel like the parents knew some ish. The parents knew something, but they ignored it. They didn't care, or they just ignored it. They were too busy thinking, "Oh, it's just a phase. He'll get through it. He'll grow out of it. No big deal." Now, don't get me wrong. Here's two other options too. Two other things. One, I mean, boys are boys, right? When we grow up, sometimes, I mean, I wasn't like this, but sometimes the disheveled look is a thing. Okay, just being really honest. I've seen it with a bunch of other people, just looking like they're not put together, like they woke up like they didn't care. Right? Seen plenty of that kind of look, right? Especially with specific types of vibes, right? There was the grunge look was around for a while. There's the goth look. There's all these other things. Obviously the emo look. All these things that have these styles and vibes that existed in the 90s, early 2000s, even the early 10s, right? That were around. I'm so thankful that emo does not exist really anymore. The look, at least. Oh my dear God, I couldn't stand it anymore. But anyway, one of the things though is that a look like that actually does exist, right? So I can see a lot of parents are going, "Oh, he's just going through a phase." Next thing you know, next year he'll be in, Jordans and skinny jeans and I don't know, all trendy. You know what I mean? You never know, right? So they're just probably thinking, "Oh, he's going through a phase," or that's how they live, disheveled. I mean, shoot, some of these people's homes, you'd be surprised how people live sometimes. You're like, "Bro, what? You what? You live in this kind of filth?" There's a lot of people that do live in homes that you're just like, "Wow, this is filthy." And it's okay. That's the norm for them. Or they're extreme hoarders, whatever. Barely take showers, and that's their lifestyle. Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis. But you see what I'm saying? Like where they just don't wash their ass. Now, I'm not trying to go into a comedic rant here, but I'm just saying people live in very interesting ways. Their lifestyle and their cleanliness and their own personal hygiene is varying degrees of what they consider clean. Okay, so he could very well be living in his own filth at home, and his parents live in it too, and they're okay with it, right? They're totally fine with it because that's how they live. Now, his attitudes and what he's going through, I mean, just in the defense of the parents, let's be real. Maybe they're thinking he's just going to grow out of it, or maybe they're going, "Honey, it's hormones. He's going through it right now. It's puberty. It's hormones. He's going to grow through it. He's going to grow out of it. He's just playing video games, honey. He's just playing video games, babe. He's going to grow out of it." Could very well be that too, until they get a phone call from the principal or from the school saying, "We need to talk to you about your son and his disturbing behavior, his unacceptable behavior." Then all of a sudden, "Oh my Lord, what? Our son is doing what?" Because here's the thing. They're probably not going through his stuff. They're probably not going through his book bags and his schoolwork to make sure he's doing the right thing. They're probably so focused on their own stuff and making sure that bills are paid that they're not even thinking about that stuff. They're just thinking this kid is just gonna get through it. It's just a phase. Unfortunately, this phase took over his entire mind and made him do this terrible thing. That's why I say over and over again, I'm not sitting here saying to be extremely overly protective and extremely controlling over your children, but there's a little tether. There's an imaginary string that you are connected to with your child, right? And I call it a tether. And I'm not a parent, so I'm not an expert on child rearing, but in my mind, You let them know that they have certain liberties and freedoms, right? For them to make decisions for themselves and all that stuff, because they are an individual. But at the same time, you can always tug on that tether just a little bit. Just a little bit. Some people might think that's unhealthy. I think that's incredibly important, especially if you have children that are going through schools that could possibly get hurt. Or if you feel in the back of your mind that your son or daughter is going through some stuff, you should be doing everything you can to make sure that your child is doing okay. And if it means, I'm sorry to say this, but I'm gonna say it. If it means that while he's off playing basketball or hanging out with a friend, that you go through his room to make sure your son is okay, I'm sorry to say this too. You open up a journal to read his entries to make sure everything's sound and fine. I'm sorry. You do that because at the end of the day, that's more people still on this planet. There's more people still alive. And you get that son or that daughter the proper counseling that that child deserves before it is too late. I'm all about full court press when it comes to child rearing. Like I said, I do not have children. I am not a father. But when it comes to my children, I would do everything in my power to make sure that they are safe, sound, mind, body, and soul. If that means I'm an asshole for opening up a book or opening up the drawer and I'm seeing like weed paraphernalia and I'm going, hey, son, what's up with this? Let me be the asshole. Because next thing you know, if you don't say something, if you don't speak up to your children, it turns into something like this. It could potentially turn into something worse. So that's what I think when it comes to that. That tether, just, you just make sure that tether's really tight. They know it's there. But you go ahead. Gotcha. You know what I mean? You know I'm your parent, and I care about you. You're acting funny right now, son. What's up? You've been acting strange for a while. That's the conversations that need to be having. You need to be having full court press. That's just my thought. That's my thoughts. You are biologically going to be the bad guy forever until they grow up and then they go, man, daddy was awesome. Mama was awesome. I got so mad at her that one day when she went through my stuff, but you know what? I'm so thankful for it now. Hey, then you're going to be the asshole. Be the asshole for now. They'll thank you later. It'll be 20 years, but they'll thank you later. That's what I think. We got to move on to our next stories, though, real quick. But Jeff Height, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Amen, Pascal. Those with nothing to hide nothing. Look through their room and their belongings. You know what? There you go. He said it much better than me. And it took me 5 minutes to explain it. But hey, exactly. He did it like a sniper. I was like birdshot all over the place, but he was like a sniper with this ish. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Okay. Like I said, there's a line. Don't cross it. Just toe that line. You'll be fine. And there won't be any more of these kind of crazy things going on if we all watch our kids. That's it. As much as we can, of course. But anyway, we got to go on to the next story. And I appreciate all y'all for your input, your thoughts, and all that. We do have a little bit of good news here. And I wanted to pull this up. So 1 second, guys. Where the heck is it? I had it, bro. Hold on. Son of a gun. Hold on, guys. Sorry. I had it and now it's gone. Don't you love when you have something pulled up and then it just straight up disappears? Gotta love that. 1 second, guys. There we are. Shout out to Reagan Penny if they are watching the show right now. I appreciate the emails that I've been receiving, just keeping me up to date with certain things that especially when I walk away from this computer and I'm doing some stuff, and then I come back and I get some emails for updates and stuff. I really do appreciate it. It's awesome. David does the same damn thing, and Lady Justice. I'm not saying she's the only that Reagan's the only one, but just saying I appreciate the family contributing and helping out. I really do appreciate that. So we do have some good news revolving around the shooting of Jacqueline Avant. They have a suspect in custody right now, and this one's very interesting. Let's take a look at. Whoops, wrong one. Let's take a look at this video right here. Yeah, that's not. He didn't go to Beverly Hills. No, he's not Superman. He is locked up. He is away. But here we go.
An arrest has been made in the murder of the wife of a legendary music executive.
Beverly Hills police announced an arrest in the shocking murder of a legendary music executive's wife.
We have arrested a suspect in the homicide of one of our beloved Beverly Hills residents, Jacqueline Avant.
He was identified as Ariel Maynor.
He has an extensive criminal record. He's on parole.
The victim, Jacqueline Avant, is the wife of Clarence Avant, known as the godfather of black music. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame earlier this year. His wife was shot to death in their $16 million Beverly Hills mansion.
Multiple surveillance videos, including city cameras, showed the suspect's vehicle heading eastbound out of Beverly Hills shortly after Mrs. Avant was shot early Wednesday morning.
Authorities say after he shot Mrs. Avant, the suspect allegedly went to commit another burglary in the Hollywood Hills.
When they arrived, they found Maynor in the backyard suffering from a gunshot wound to his foot. Following a thorough investigation by LAPD, it was determined that a burglary had occurred at that residence and Maynor had accidentally shot himself in the foot.
This idiot shot himself in the foot. Just so you know. Dumbass.
Clarence Avant is beloved in the music industry and is responsible for a string of hits.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
Including Bill Withers' Ain't No Sunshine and the unforgettable Lean On Me.
We all need somebody to lean on.
Inside Edition spoke to family friend Naji Ali.
Why in the world did they have to shoot and kill this beautiful woman?
That has shocked everyone because certainly she was no threat. She was an elderly woman, and we feel the person who shot her is nothing but a cold-blooded, cowardly killer.
In a statement, the Avant family said, quote, "Let justice be served."
So first off, I want to say that I'm very, very happy that they found the shooter, the killer of this situation, because, yesterday I had some questions and I didn't know, I had some questions, totally innocent questions about this whole situation, because Clarence Avant was in the house. Their security guard was in the house, but they weren't harmed. So a lot of people, not only just myself, a lot of people were going, what? How's that even possible? Right? So when I received this information, and I saw a couple other articles, of course, popping up about them obtaining this son of a gun here, this POS, I was like, oh, thank God. Because the last thing I would hate to see is more speculations and more conspiracy theories revolve around Clarence being the one holding the gun, or the security guard, or it was a hit, organized by Clarence because of a divorce that you see what I'm saying? So I was extremely happy to hear that they brought in a suspect. I was actually really, really happy that he shot himself in the foot. I'm going to be straight funky too, but because that's not even what he really deserves. But the fact that he shot himself in the foot, I'm like, okay, yeah, he's a buffoon. Okay, great. But I was happy that this story was wrapped up pretty quickly, right? And it wasn't something that lasted for months and weeks or forever. So yes, I'm very, very happy that Clarence Avant's wife, Jacqueline, her assailant, has been found and has been detained. And that guy has a long list of he's got a rap sheet, and it's very, very long, right? David, what are your thoughts? You're muted.
So this one is still weird to me, even though we kind of have an idea of who did this now, simply because there were the guards there, and it does sound like he must have made entry somehow beforehand. So, I mean, if they have the suspect, he probably is the one that did it, since none of the guards have spoken out yet about it not being him. So it is likely that this is the suspect, but it does still seem strange how he got in. This may just be the case of the security guard was, like you said before, just a little too old to still be an active guard for somebody at that point. But I still have some questions, specifically how he got in there and why he was aiming at her while burglarizing the house, allegedly. I don't know. It still seems like he went out of his way to shoot her, as opposed to the other people who he chose not to shoot. It doesn't sound like she was attacking him or anything. He broke in and shot her and then ran off. And obviously he's going to run off after he fires because people have heard it. But it still seems like his first goal there was to shoot her instead of to take stuff. I mean, it would have been much easier for him to steal things if he just held them at gunpoint and didn't shoot anyone. So it's strange. I still think there's something here that we're not being told about yet. Though I do think that this is probably the suspect if the guard and the like are not saying otherwise. So I do think they have the right person. I just don't know why he did it, I guess. I don't think the burglary makes sense.
Well, I will say this before I throw it over to Bree. I will say this. There has been a lot of armed robberies that have been happening in the LA area. Excuse me. They've been showing video after video, like ring security cam footage of guys dressed up like cops and going and just straight up robbing people at gunpoint, all in LA. I mean, it's getting insane out here. So impersonating law enforcement and also trying to rob people of their belongings, right? So the fact that this is a thing and that they're going into rich areas, they're going into Beverly Hills and the sort to rob people. So the fact that his house was targeted does not seem like a something. It doesn't seem like a far-fetched idea, because crime has been going up. Armed robberies have been going up considerably. You know, Bree, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't really know much about this story. I mean, either way, I'm always glad when a suspect is apprehended. I mean, it's really sad that she was murdered. I don't know. I don't know if David said or not. Was nothing taken?
They reported that nothing was taken. At least that's what the news reported.
Yeah, that is very, very odd. Unless he had intentions of taking something, and I mean, she walked in and then he shot her and then took off. But that seems very strange.
It does seem strange. It does. I mean, the idea of see now the conspiracies start. Now the brain starts, the hamster wheel starting to run, starting to turn, and then it automatically goes into, what if it was a hit and they were like, hey, make it look like a robbery, go to another house next door or a place close by and rob that place too, so it looks like there was just a string of B&Es going on in that neighborhood. That could very well be it too, but I don't know if I want to fully fully invest my mind and energy into that right off the bat, because we just don't know everything yet. And I'm sure there's going to be more information when it comes out. David.
The idea that this was part of the string of burglaries came from the LA mayor, who earlier in the year created or either him or the governor created a plan earlier in the year to kind of manage these sorts of burglaries. And so the LA chief is the one that thinks this was part of a random burglary. However, as of last night, the Beverly Hill police chief, who's the one in charge of this investigation, so because this actually happened in Beverly Hills, he thinks it was a targeted attack still. He hasn't updated his statements to suggest otherwise. I don't know. I mean, it could have just been a really weird burglary that went really bad, but I do tend to agree with the Beverly Hills police that this seems like a targeted attack. Just because it was more of an attack than a burglary, and we don't know for sure what he was even going to do at that second location because he shot himself in the foot.
Right.
But it's just weird. I mean, it's possible that this is exactly just that, a burglary that went wrong, but I don't really think it is. I think it probably targeted. Maybe it was a burglary targeting specifically her because they knew she had some value or something. I don't know. That doesn't seem very likely considering a lot of other options in the areas. But they picked that house for some reason. And he also chose to shoot her for some reason. Like we were saying, it doesn't seem like the guard was defending her. It doesn't seem like she was armed, which makes sense because she has a guard. So why did he decide to shoot her? There was something that caused him to decide to shoot her and not the other guy at the house. And we don't know why. If that guy was the guard, he's the one that's actually a threat to the robber because he's presumably going to have a gun or something on him.
Right.
But he shot the woman instead. And it seems like he shot her while she was standing near the window, maybe. At least from what I can understand, the few shots that were fired at her were the ones that also broke the window. It just doesn't add up to me. Like I said, it could have just been everything went wrong and this guy just made strange and stupid decisions, but it does seem like there's something here we don't know to me.
Yeah. Like I said, it is still very strange, but it is good that they do have the suspect or a suspect in custody. Hopefully we're going to get more information here. I'm sure they're interrogating the hell out of him. In fact, if you really want to make him squeal, just apply some pressure on his foot. But anyway, we got to get into our next stories. But before we go into it, we do have a couple super chats, so I need to get into those real quick. Agrovixen, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. She says it's her husband's birthday. Happy birthday to your husband, Nur. I really do appreciate you and all your energy and putting in the time that you have been doing for this show, modding and everything. So it is your birthday too, in my personal opinion. So happy birthday to your husband. Hopefully he gets to drink a really good bottle of beer or something like that tonight. I don't know. Hopefully he has a great time tonight. That sounds like it meant something else. I don't mean that, but maybe it is a good time tonight. I don't know. And Colt 45, it's Colt 45's birthday. What? I'm confused.
No, I think it's your little spoof,
my
your Colt of 45.
Oh, that's that was this year, or that was today? For real? Wow, that's a throwback. Maybe I'll throw it up here in a little bit. But happy birthday to your husband. Hopefully it's a wonderful one for him. We got a couple other super chats real quick before we go on to some other crazy stories. Blue True, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. They said, you are right, sir, Pascal. I made sure my awesome son, while in high school, got counseling, great medical care. He is healthy now. Thank God. Yes, like I said, full court press on your children, taking care of your children, making sure that they're okay, right? And if they need to speak to somebody that is beyond you and, say, your spouse or whoever else is your partner or whoever is co-parenting with you, yes, you find the right type of counseling or the right type of professional that could bend an ear to your son or daughter's feelings and whatever they're have going on mentally. So yes, I embrace this super chat all day long. So thank you so much for the $5 super chat, Blue True. I think there's another one. Is there another one? I think there is. Hold on. I could be wrong. 1 second. So many comments. Nope. That is it, I think. That is it. But thank you all for the super chats. Y'all are amazing. Again, you guys are amazing. Anyway, we got to go into this next story. And we're going into more light stuff. Okay, guys? We're going to get into some lighter stuff. And this one's just ridiculous. And I don't think David even knows. I know Breon knows about this one, but we didn't get to brief David in the middle of, before we started the show. So this one, oh, there it is. This one is very interesting. A woman caught breastfeeding her hairless cat on a Delta flight. You can't make this up, y'all. Who breastfeeds the cat? No one said anything. Okay, good. I'm not crazy. Okay. Clearly, this is a crazy thing to do. Okay. A woman who took a Delta flight recently wasn't kidding around when she whipped out her breast and started feeding her hairless cat. The identified female flew from Syracuse, New York to Atlanta, Georgia, where she was caught breastfeeding her feline on the plane. A flight attendant told her repeatedly to stop, and to put her cat back in its cage. However, the woman refused. A message was sent through the aircraft communications addressing and reporting system to alert Delta crew in Atlanta that a passenger in seat 13A is breastfeeding a cat and will not put cat back in its carrier when the flight attendant requested. A photo of the message board is found here on Reddit, but literally it's right here. Wow. So 13A is breastfeeding a cat and will not put cat back in its carrier when the flight attendant requested. Literally, it's right there. And that's what a hairless cat looks like. I'm sorry. Oh God, I'm sorry.
And I want to point out that despite the myth, cats are lactose intolerant, so this is just making the cat sick.
Okay, I'm sorry. They had to make sure we knew what a hairless cat looked like. So that's what a hairless cat looks like. I mean, it's a cat without hair. Come on, y'all. Damn. But anyway, the cat is lactose intolerant. Oh. Okay, so apparently there is no video. I don't think that there's a video because I tried to look for one. There is not a video of the cat or the woman breastfeeding a hairless cat. But before I continue, why? Why? Why would you? Why? I'm sorry. Why would you want to breastfeed your cat? I'm serious. Why would you want to breastfeed your cat?
Maybe she forgot to bring snacks for it.
I mean, no, but so she the snack?
I guess.
It don't make sense.
It's gonna make me sick, man.
It's gross. Here, Fluffy. Get it? Fluffy, because he has no hair. Hey, Fluffy. You know what I'm saying? Squeeze into the mouth. Can you imagine? Like, why? Who? And then the fangs in the teats. The fangs in the teats. That's not going to be comfortable. That's not going to be comfortable. I'm dead ass. Who wants to? How do you comfortably with the fangs? Anybody? No one's saying anything. Okay, fine. Flight attendant Ainsley Elizabeth, who was on board during the incident, took to TikTok on November 13th to explain more of what went down. This woman had one of those like hairless cats swaddled up in a blanket so it looked like a baby. Oh, wee little baby.
That makes it funnier. That makes it funnier.
Her shirt was up and she was trying to get the cat to latch. What the and she wouldn't put the cat back in the carrier. And the cat was screaming for its life. The cat was like literally. She's just going, just latch on, honey. What the hell?
That's weird.
The cat was screaming for his life, swaddled up like a wee little baby. Okay, so this flight attendant also revealed in another video that security got involved. However, she's unaware of what happened to the woman and her cat once the jet touched down at Atlanta. The Delta employee who sent the ACARS message also requested that Delta's Red Coat team apprehend the woman once they got to the ground. Redcoats are the elite airport customer service experts, identifiable by their bright red coats. Who would have thunk? They are specially trained to handle on-the-stop customer issues. Just so you know, that's what the hairless cat looks like.
Did they call CPS Cat Protection Services on her?
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I just snorted. Okay. I'm sorry. Oh, who wants that? Okay, what was the question that you asked? I'm sorry. I was a little taken aback.
I said, did they call CPS on her, Cat Protection Services?
I'm done. Bree, stop it. Stop. But anyway. Oh, God. Okay, so of course, oh, wow. Okay, so the airline website also outlines its policies of women breastfeeding children. Okay, not cats, not felines. Delta fully supports a woman's right to breastfeed on board Delta and Delta connection aircraft and in Delta facilities. Breast pumps are allowed on board at the airport, and if you prefer, many airports do offer private lactation rooms or spaces. Delta allows animals such as small dogs, cats, and household birds to board domestic flights and, quote unquote, must be able to fit in a small ventilated pet carrier, not swaddled up like a wee little baby so that you can breastfeed your damn cat. Yes.
No, that's what kills me. It was swaddled.
Swaddled. Swaddled up like a wee little baby. You know, it's Christmas time. You know, swaddled in swaddled. You know? Just so you know, this is what a hairless cat looks like.
God, someone call ASPCA. Where's Sarah McLaughlin?
Yeah, no kidding. You know, in the arms of an angel. You know what I'm saying? Right. The cat's looking all like sad and stuff. This one looks like he's been taking his breast milk. He looks healthy. Oh God. Just so you know, that's what a hairless cat looks like. Just one more time. Hairless cat. Yeah. Apparently cats can be breastfed, allegedly. Except this one was screaming for its life. So, wow. A wee little baby. Wee little baby.
I think they only do that when they're kittens, not adults. But I'm not sure.
I mean, I could go places with some run-on words right now, but I'm trying to be respectful because you know what I'm saying. I could go to town on this, but I'm not going to. Okay, I could.
I can't stay around for it, but I just sent a update to you over private that we were talking about earlier. It just happened 2 minutes ago, but I can't stay on any longer.
Ooh, you gotta go.
Yeah, well, I gave you this first.
I mean, dang, man. I'm trying not to curse. Trying not to curse. Okay, fine. We'll pull this up because I got one more. Story that I want to show you guys, but it's a more uplifting and more heartwarming thing, and I want to show you guys here in a second. But David, get the hell out of my face.
All right, bye.
See ya. Anyway, let's look at this. This is breaking right now as we speak. breaker. Let me get this up here really quick. According to this article, and this is revolving around the Oxford school shooting, parents have been charged with involuntary manslaughter. It is official. The parents of the 15-year-old accused of murdering 4 classmates at Oxford High School failed to secure the gun he used and should also face prison time for their son's deadly shooting spree in Oakland County. The Oakland County prosecutor Karen McDonald said Friday. Today, just a few minutes ago, this is hot and fresh out the kitchen, y'all. All right. McDonald announced involuntary manslaughter charges against James and Jennifer Crumbly. Their son, Ethan Crumbly, already faces a slew of the T word, murder, assault charges that, if convicted, could put him in prison for the rest of his life without the possibility of parole. McDonald charged the teen as an adult, given the severity of his crime. Obviously. Right? Authorities say James Crumbly purchased a 9mm Sig Sauer SP 2022 pistol last Friday, 4 days before the school shooting. Ethan Crumbly had subsequently posted pictures of the gun and a target on social media before the attack. We already saw all that stuff. Now, McDonald had hinted at charges against Crumbly's parents earlier in the week, telling this particular radio station, I guess, that their gun seems to have been just freely available to their son. The parents' actions go far beyond negligence, she said. Ethan Crumbly has also pleaded not guilty to the accused crimes, but prosecutors say that there is a mountain of evidence against him. There's a typo in here, including a video he allegedly recorded the night before the attack. Wow. Including a video he allegedly recorded the night before the attack. A journal entry describing his plans to, quote unquote, shoot up the school, and surveillance footage from inside. Interesting. One thing that I think that they wanted this, that we showed earlier in the show, that Karen McDonald said that there's some disturbing new evidence. I'm thinking it's the actual video that he recorded the night before the attack that we have not seen yet. No one has seen this yet. So there is a video somewhere in the possession of the law enforcement right now where he has literally pre-recorded something, maybe his own verbal manifesto, including a journal entry the night before the shooting. Boom. Now, we already know a bunch of other things where he has exhibited some concerning behavior in the classroom earlier in the week, according to authorities who said they were not aware of that until the crime. Now, this is what they say the authorities are saying, but the school had already known. Those concerns prompted school personnel to meet with Crumbly the day before the shooting, and then to call his parents in for a second meeting just hours before the Tuesday attack. And of course, we already know all this stuff. No punishment, no discipline was warranted. Nothing happened. He went into the bathroom, came out, and he shot people. So crazy that this is the information right now. But this is breaking. As you see right here, parents have been charged with involuntary manslaughter. And the other piece of information here is this. They have a mountain of evidence. I'm going to highlight this really quick. A mountain of evidence against him, including a video he allegedly recorded before the attack, a journal entry describing his plans to do some things in the school, and of course, there's surveillance footage from the inside that I'm sure will get leaked at some point. But one thing I want to see more than anything in the world, I would love to see that video entry, that video that he made the night before the attack. In fact, I would love to see the journal entry as well. Breon, what are your thoughts on this? Now that we hear this more developing information here.
Well, I think that this is warranted. The one thing I'm curious about is when he shot the others in the bathroom, did anyone not hear the gunshots? Because that's something that hasn't been discussed at all. Because then he came out into the hallway and then didn't he start shooting or something like that? So that was just interesting that no one heard the loud bangs from the gun. I was just kind of curious about that.
Yeah, I want to know more as well, like the more of the description of when did they know that this whole thing went off, right? When did they know what did the children hear? What did the kids hear? What did the staff hear? Right? Who was the first one to hear the first gunshot go off? Where were they when they heard the first gunshot go off? How, especially the victims as well. Were there any other people next to those victims? Were they spared? Did he have a list? I hate to say that, but did he have a hit list of people that he wanted to take down and other people were spared? I don't know. We don't know. But like I said, I'm going to show that highlighted spot again. It all depends on what this mountain of evidence they have against him is, what this video that was previously recorded is saying in that video, what he's saying in that video. Also, what's that journal entry? You see what I'm saying? But like I said before, parents would have known if they were looking through his ish, if they were looking through his belongings, if they were looking at his journal entry, if they even knew he had a journal, right? Now, I saw in the chat somebody saying that the video that he made was on his cell phone. He made a cell phone video. I don't know if that's true or not, but that would be very convenient, obviously. His cell phone can record video, right? So we don't know, but it's crazy that there were so many signs leading up to this horrible event, this tragedy, clearly, and no one did anything.
Right.
Like it says right here too, no discipline was warranted at the time. That's what the superintendent said in a video statement. Yeah, you know what I mean? He says, yes, the student did have contact with our front office, and yes, his parents were on campus on the 30th of November. This is as much information we can give to you today. And that's literally all they say. Like, so no discipline was warranted, but whatever he was doing was unsavory.
But that's interesting because schools just don't call parents up to the office if the behavior doesn't warrant a discipline. It had to have been disruptive enough or bad enough for them to call the parents, or it must have been ongoing behavior, like talking in class but continuing to do it, or forgetting homework and never turning it in. Like, those things make sense, but that's what I'm saying. It's either a pattern or his behavior had been warranted enough to call, but then not to discipline. And I know that one thing that we often talk about is, how schools or how society reacts, had individuals been African American or other Black students, they would have immediately had an IEP, probably would have had several in-school suspensions. They often don't give parents the opportunity to come up to the schools to make it right. Often, Black parents have to demand. So it's just really interesting that, or we're going to call the parents in, but it doesn't warrant anything. Well, then why call the parents? like something just doesn't seem right, at least in my mind, because other parents have been called, or other children have been disciplined for potentially far less. So I'm just kind of curious, what particularly it was, um, if it had to been related to true behavior, or had it been related to, um, grades or not turning in assignments. Um, but yeah, I'm just kind of curious. But
Mhm.
yeah, I've seen students, parents being called for far less. I've experienced it myself when I was in school,
Mhm.
not even doing anything, parents getting called, or getting in trouble. So why call the parents if it doesn't warrant anything?
Um, yeah. I wow. Okay. And I'm with you 100%. But now I just got something. I just got an email from Len Street. So shout out to Len Street. But this is a post. I don't know, man. This is nuts. Okay. I'm gonna throw something up here. This is from 3 years ago, and this is very interesting. I don't know what it revolves around or what this entails, but I feel like this is interesting and should be seen. There was, I guess, something on Facebook, I'm assuming, where some people were making some comments, and the father was commenting on, I guess, a relative, I guess, or maybe a sister's comment. And I'm just going to throw it up here. It says it right here. Amy Crumbly, I'm assuming that is James Crumbly's sister, basically, or maybe sister-in-law. But this is Ethan's aunt, from what I'm gathering. And it says here, and I'm not kidding, it says, "Payback is coming, dear parents." And that's from Amy. James R. Crumbly, which is Ethan's father, he says, and this is 3 years ago, mind you, but it says, "Knowing Ethan, it will come back sooner than later." I'm just putting that up here. I don't know what the hell that means, but take it as you see it. Let me repeat that again. Amy Crumbley made a comment. I don't know what it pertains to, but said, "Payback is coming, dear parents." Then James responded to that comment saying, "Knowing Ethan, it will come back sooner than later." This was 3 years ago. So I'm just going to throw that in, put that in your pipe and smoke on it. Let that marinate, go all the way down to the plums, and let you guys ruminate and figure that out for yourselves. I don't know what that really entails. I don't know what that means.
But that kind of to me sounds like, like when someone finds out they're pregnant, right? And then they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna have a girl," and then someone's like, "Oof, imagine what's gonna happen to you when you were 13. I remember when you were that age." So they're like, payback is coming to you. Like, to me, I feel like that could be,
Okay.
the same thing, and then the father could be like, "Well, yeah, knowing my son, you're probably right. I'm gonna get paid back for this, because of maybe how I acted."
Yeah.
I don't necessarily say that's true here, but I'm saying that a comment like that, doesn't seem that far-fetched.
I see what you're saying. Let me throw that back up. Payback is coming, dear parents. And then everybody, but then there's people, I don't know. Payback is coming, dear parents. Some people, there's only been 9 reactions on that comment. Some people are laughing. Some people are like, teary-eyed, and some people are hitting that like button. And like I said, this could be completely stripped out of context, right? Could be completely stripped out of context. And that's a very good theory, Breon. That could very well be it. But knowing Ethan, it will come back sooner than later. Because but that's the thing. Payback is coming, dear parents. Yeah, you're right. You never know. You never know. I mean, that could be anything. That literally can be anything. So you're right. But in the context of everything that's happening right now, it kind of goes, whoa, wait a second. What is that supposed to mean? The parents know something more than they're giving off?
They probably do. I mean, like, I'm saying a person doesn't drastically change from that seemingly happy-go-lucky kid who seems very social, seems to be enjoying himself, to being a T word to his community.
Yeah. It's like I said, that is just that's just crazy. If that's even a real thing, if it's really in the confines of what we were talking about, right? Then my Lord, that is terrifying. But if not, then this is just something that was just completely stripped out and taken out of context, because that could be anything. That could have been a little league game. It could pertain to anything. That could pertain to anything. So, but I found it very interesting, and I was like, all right, let me pull this up, because that's some fascinating. That's very fascinating for someone to say that. And then, of course, 3 years later, he is a mass shooter. It's crazy thought. But we got to go into our last story. This is something a little bit more uplifting. But now we know, breaking news, Ethan Crumbly's parents are going to be charged with involuntary manslaughter. That is officially happening right now. We just broke that news. That is breaking news right here on the Pascal Show. So please do me that favor. Hit that like button down below. Send those likes past 300 likes. That would really mean a lot to me. We got to get into our last and final piece. And here's the thing. I want to send everybody off on a smile. Okay? This is the most adorable thing I've seen in a really, really long time. I'm not going to lie. It is really adorable. And if this doesn't make you smile, then you the devil. I said it. But let me show this to you guys. So my oldest is headed back to college, and his younger brother had to let him know how much he loves him. You just got to see this video. It's amazing. It's adorable as hell. And like I said, if it doesn't make you feel all warm inside and make you chuckle, then you have no soul. Okay? So here we go.
Bye, Rome. I love you. I love you. Love you.
I'm playing it again.
Bye, Rome. I love you. I love you. Love you. I love you. I love you. Love you.
Yeah, he's eating some cake. He's having a great time, man. But like I said, more and more than ever nowadays, we need to be showing. Oh man, we need to be showing love more often, and it's really amazing when you get to see something as simple and as small as this, but it's just so damn cute. It is so damn cute, and it just warms my heart. And I was like, you know what? We've been just covering so much gloom and doom as of recently, and I was like, you know what? We need to send the show off on just a smile, right? And just showing the simple things in life that just happen to get caught on film like that, that get caught on video, that just make you smile and just realize that, life is beautiful. Life is amazing. And, every chance we get it, we have around our loved ones is a gift. And this holiday season, we're obviously Christmas tree. This holiday season, I'm going to try to bring as much of that as I can, as much as I can. Obviously, we are dealing and talking about things that are big topics, big stories. But more important, on top of all this, is remembering that we have beautiful things that surround our lives every single day. And it can be the simplest thing. A really good cup of coffee, to the smile from a loved one. That phone call that you get every single day from your parents or someone that you care for. It's those simple things that really matter. And so, like, that video just made me I was just laughing, on how beautiful and how warm it made me feel inside. And so I'm like, all right, we need to bring those things back to our lives in general, not just this show, but our lives. So I wanted to make an announcement today, because I was going to put it together. I have something that's going to be coming out on Monday, but I just can't hold it in any longer. I am going to be doing a holiday special on the show, December 22nd, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. I am giving you guys everything in the kitchen sink. We're talking musical guests, like live musical performances, skits, giveaways, and a whole lot of holiday cheer. So December 22nd, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time is going to be a completely different show, but we are bringing in the holiday cheer. We're going to bring in the fun festivities. We're going to get a little corny. We're going to have a great time. And we're not going to be talking about the news. We're going to be talking about why it feels so good to be alive and why it's so important to be around the people that you love, the people that you call family. And that could be anybody. That could be blood, and that could be not blood. But officially, December 22nd, I will be live. Full on holiday show, holiday special. Like I said, a gang of musical artists, whole bunch of special guests that are going to be coming in and out, hosting as well. And we going to do the damn thing. So it's going to be a fun ass show. I haven't done one of these things in probably 2-3 years, because of the stuff that we've been dealing with and because of just transitionings and changes and all that. But I'm really excited about bringing this back and making it a staple thing that every single year. It just gets better and better and better and better. So just so you know, starting on Monday, there will be a video out and all that to let you guys know about all this. But I just wanted to let you guys know now, December 22nd, right here on the Pascal Show, a full-on holiday special, and it will be live. So tune in. It's going to be fun. But anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Real talk, it is that time to get going. I want to say thank you to David, who had to jump off. Of course, thank you, Breon, for coming on and being a part of the conversation today. I really do appreciate it.
No, always happy to be here.
Yes. All right, guys. So do me a small favor, guys. Please do me that small favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Destroy it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're working towards 50,000 subscribers. Here's the other thing, though, too. If we are at 50,000 subscribers by the holiday show, then this will be a big, huge celebration. Even more reasons to celebrate. 50,000 subscribers is a big deal to me. It's been a crawl, but I'm really looking forward to getting to it. And if I can get to that before the 22nd of December, oh, man, what an amazing holiday gift would that be? You know what I mean? So please hit that subscribe button. Tell your friends about the show and all that good ish. All right. But anyway, it is time to get going, guys. You stay blessed out there. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys very soon. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
You're going to perform
tonight.
I can't make this interview boring because this man is too exciting as a host. And I'm truly saying this, and if y'all can't do this, me and this man here is going to leave and go somewhere else where we can get some love. I want everyone in the building to say, I love Pascal on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Wow.
Homeowners and property managers, if you're looking for effective and humane ways to remove wild animals and deal with the damage that they have caused, we have good news for you. Introducing Wildlife Command Center. We are the only wildlife company that checks 70 different areas on a structure to determine the answers to the following questions. For more information, call us now.
The Fur and Leather Center, providing the highest